So I saw this headline and I'm gonna be real, it broke my brain when I read it. I didn't know how to respond. Xbox wants to be the Rolls Royce of consoles from IGN, Next Gen Console Watch. And maybe it's just me, but the idea of Xbox framing themselves as like the premium at this point, like console, it's very funny to me. It just doesn't land right. Like the Rolls Royce of consoles. Okay, let's see. They're not even the Toyota. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Jacob says, I'm starting to think Xbox might just be incredibly stupid. What the hell does that even mean? I think, we'll watch it. I think what they mean is that Xbox is going to have $1,000 console next generation. And so they want to be like the most expensive. They want to be the most premium. And I do think that is what they're going to try to do. But I think Rolls-Royce brings with it a certain brand mystique and prestige that Xbox definitely does not have right now. So we'll see what they say, but that's what I think they're going with.
Welcome back to Next Gen Console Watch, our show discussing all the latest gaming hardware. I'm Damon Hatfield, and as always, I'm joined by Ryan McCaffrey, host of Podcast Unlocked, and Max Scoville, host of Podcast Beyond. And Microsoft is dropping little hints about its next-gen Xbox, suggesting it will be ultra-premium hardware.
I also have to say, I've watched these guys for so long. I remember being in high school and seeing videos of these dudes. Like, it's so weird to still see them doing this, like, even now. Well, you know, good bit more gray hair. I'm saying that as somebody that I started getting little gray hairs on the side of my head. It's freaking me out a little bit. But, like, it happens to us all. It happens to us all. But it's very funny to see these same guys that I've watched forever and they're still doing it. It's just funny.
Microsoft has promised next level performance, cutting edge graphics, breakthrough gameplay, and unmatched compatibility, and said everything it's working on will be fully compatible with users' existing Xbox game library. But how much will it cost and just how powerful will it be? In an interview with Mashable, Xbox President Sarah Bond talked in vague terms about what Microsoft is going for with its next-gen console, but did suggest it'll be a premium hybrid PC and console. So Bond said, the next-gen console is going to be a very premium, very high-end, curated experience. You're starting to see some of the thinking we have in this handheld, but I don't want to give it all away.
So she points to the handheld as an example of some of what they're thinking. Okay, what are they thinking? What's been rumored is that it's going to be much more PC-like than console-like. What's rumored is that it will basically be a PC with swappable parts. You will be able to boot into a like Windows experience or into an Xbox interface, which is what's been suggested with the Xbox ROG Ally Xbox X or whatever, is that was kind of the original vision. And they want you to be able to play on any storefront. So you can download Steam to your next generation Xbox. Paired with this, and what she also alluded to, was that you will be able to play all of your backwards compatible Xbox games and like series games on that device. So it will play all Xbox games on the device natively, which is something that this cannot do. The ROG Ally Xbox X, whatever, cannot just like boot an Xbox game. It has to be able to like run it. So it's not like one of those things where you see, oh, it's on the Series S, I can play it here. That's not how these PCs work. It's just different. And I don't know, man. I think that there is a market for a couch PC experience that is streamlined and intuitive. And I think that Steam, frankly, should tackle that. Like Steam should have some sort of just all-in-one PC that you plug into your TV, and it has the Steam OS presentation, and it's a pretty powerful PC, but it allows you to just play your Steam games on your TV. I know you can technically do that with Steam Link, and there's, you know, people have a PC hooked up to their TV and everything. But I think an all-in-one package, an all-in-one box from Steam would do very well. I really, really do believe that. I don't know if Xbox is going to be able to nail it the way that they think they will, but let's continue seeing what they have to say.
That's a reference to the recently released ROG Xbox Ally X handle, which costs $1,000. So, Ryan, how do you interpret very premium, very high end?
These executives choose their words very carefully because they know that people are paying attention, and the fact that she chose the word very as another adjective to throw onto premium there. Just makes the dollar sign amount go up. That's more money. Yeah, it does gel with kind of what's been rumored, what's been going around for a while, that this thing, the next Xbox console, will in fact be more of a hybrid PC/console where you might be able to connect to multiple storefronts. We are seeing exactly that right now in the ROG Xbox Ally, like she referenced and as you just mentioned, Damon. So I think they're showing us exactly what they're doing. And next step is to take it to a set-top box. And if the Ally X is $1,000, granted, yes, it's a smaller form factor, so there's costs associated with that. But you can bet a set-top box. I mean, I would conservatively put the floor for this thing at $1,200, if in fact we're correct, and that Microsoft is making a hybrid console PC, which, Damon, I'm sure we'll get into. It kind of begs a lot of other questions.
The floor at $1,200. So he thinks the next gen Xbox starts at $1,200. What do you guys think? Do you think there's any world where that happens? I mean, woof. I think this is also so fascinating. And I think part of the reason this feels so like abrupt and sudden is because this past generation, like take it back to 2020, 2021, Xbox was framed as the budget, like cost effective option. So Xbox was selling their consoles both with the Series X, but also primarily with the Series S as like, if you don't have a lot of money, get the Series S and get Game Pass. You'll get incredible value. You can get all these games on a cheap piece of hardware. You can get into the next generation of gaming at a very, very approachable price. But the problem, and I think this is what they realize, the problem is when you do that, you build an audience and a customer base that is very, very price sensitive. And you build an audience of people that don't like spending premium dollars on things, which is a problem if you have the CFO of your company tell you you need to increase margins to 30%. That's when you have a problem, because you need to start charging more and all of a sudden they don't want to charge more. So I think what they're doing now is they're trying to swing the complete opposite way. And their goal for the next generation is for Xbox to be seen as the premium ultimate place to play games. So if you want the best graphically, like most graphically impressive version of a game, you check out what the Xbox version looks like or what the Steam version looks like, but like ultimately, if you're looking at the console options, it's not the PS5 Pro or the PlayStation 6. It's what does the Xbox look like? Yeah, it's $1,200, so it better look good, but that's what they're ultimately looking for. And that is the same approach Apple has taken, where Apple, of course, sells themselves as the premium product and their price points are really, really high. But coming with that is sort of a social status that you can afford that brand new iPhone. It's sort of a flex when you have the brand new iPhone the moment that it drops. It's kind of stupid, but that's just how it works. And on premium products, the margins are also, they tend to be much, much higher. So it ends up being much better for them in the long run. So, I mean, $1,200 is pretty steep, but then again, at the same time, right now they are actively selling an Xbox branded console that costs $1,000. So I guess it's not that insane. It just sounds wild to go that high. PlayStation 6 will be $800. I mean, that I don't think is insane. I think I'm more of the mind that like $700 is what they're looking at. But yeah, I mean, by the time we get it in a year or two, yeah, we might not be looking that far off from that.
So how do you feel about that? Because if this is the route they're going, it really would sort of differentiate themselves from PlayStation and Nintendo, obviously. And I don't know. I don't feel that mad about it, because it's like, if they're going to create, a nice PC close to a high-end PC that's just an easy to use Xbox experience at your TV, I mean, that's what the price would cost. I don't know. I don't feel that worked up about it. How about you?
I feel the same way. Honestly, it's like, look, they've acknowledged, I mean, Phil Spencer has acknowledged that they have acknowledged that they've lost the console war. Like, it's over. Right. And the numbers have unfortunately continue to get worse for them this generation. So, but what we also know to be true, even separate from Microsoft's own mistakes that have led them to being in last place in the so-called console war, is that consoles are not growing. PC gaming is growing. And so to me, this hint that she's given here suggests that they are not even going to attempt to compete with Sony or Nintendo with their next generation hardware. And instead, as you noted, Damon, they are going for a sort of set-top PC, you know, almost what Steam machines tried to do years ago, which will probably run, again, a more evolved version of the software that's on the ROG Xbox Ally X now. Of it, there's an Xbox layer, but then you can connect to other storefronts, and they are going after the growing PC market. So it'll be a very, very expensive console, but maybe a very, very affordable, relatively potent, powerful gaming PC. And I think that could be wise. Now, you can trace.
I mean, I think there's also been a trend in the last 5 years or so. A lot of people are willing to spend a lot more money on their hobby as they get entrenched in it. And so, like, we're seeing PC gamers willing to spend a lot more money on graphics cards. We're seeing console gamers willing to spend a lot more money on their consoles, upwards of $1,000 for a handheld, or you know, $750 for PlayStation 5 Pro. And so I think that maybe the lean into the premium side of it is not that insane when they're looking at their metrics. Like, there's a lot of people out there that I think would buy it. And my stance has been, and I've said this for a while, I do think that there is a large group of people out there that desire a truly premium console experience. And I don't mean like the $700 PS5 Pro. It looks sort of better if you have a 100-inch TV. Other than that, you might not be able to really tell. I mean, like, people that are willing to spend $1,200 on a PlayStation 5 Ultra or truly Pro, that is a super premium device that actually looks and feels quantifiably better than the base console. I do think that there is an audience for that. I think there's a lot of them, actually, like young adults or even middle-aged adults who are gamers, who have expendable income. Gaming is their hobby, and they'd be willing to spend money on it. A lot of people say build a PC. I'm a PC player. I mean, I obviously would agree with that. But there's a lot of people that really, really love gaming that just are not interested in PC gaming, that just are frankly more interested in the ease of console gaming, and plug it into the TV and they play the games. Like, they want to spend money. They're willing to spend money on their stuff, but they are not interested in PC gaming. And that's what I think Xbox is going to start to explore. And I think what Sony is also going to start to explore is just that potential. It's all about value for money. It doesn't matter the price as much as the representation of value for money. Oh, sure. Well, mandatory subscriptions, that's where I think you can start to get frustrated, Omar. I'll absolutely agree with you on that. But to be clear, there's sort of people, you say, in this economy, the crazy thing about the economy right now is, I just saw a metric. It was something stupid, like 51% of all retail spending in the last quarter came from the top like 2% of earners, which basically just means that 50% of all spending on everything came from very wealthy people. So people who didn't have a lot of money were not spending very much money. They were not going out shopping, even though there's a lot more poor people than there are rich people. The rich people were spending so much money that it ended up looking just fine on the bottom line. And I think that that's kind of what's happening in the gaming space too, where there's a lot of people that have expendable income on the top end, are willing to spend a lot of money on a high-end PC or high-end consoles or whatever. But there's also people that are being left behind on the lower end of the scale that are being priced out with things like massively expensive consoles, with games that are going up in price significantly. Subscription models are going up in price significantly. But these companies, ultimately, they just care about the bottom line. So they're like, yeah, if we price out the people that don't have money to spend, but we price in the wealthy people that are willing to spend a lot of money, that's better for us. So they just don't really care. I think that's basically what's happening.
This all the way back and say, well, they would never even be in this position if they hadn't made all the mistakes in the last 2 generations. Maybe they'd still be going toe-to-toe with Sony and they'd have a stronger place in the console market. Totally get that. We can have that discussion. But they are where they are because of the choices they've made. And given where they are, this actually could be the best path forward for them. And it could be I don't know if it's the best path forward for the industry in the sense of, will Sony have any real competition at all, kind of in the traditional console space? Now, this next Xbox, even if it is a hybrid PC/console, it's still going to run most of the same games that the PlayStation 6 will. But yeah, it's a bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see if it pays off for them.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. I joked earlier today when we were talking about the show that they want to be the new Neo Geo, but it's not that different actually. In the 90s, the Neo Geo was the ultra premium console. It provided the exact arcade experience at home. I think it was like $700, and the games were $100 or $200 each.
Yep.
But like, we gamers weren't mad about that. We dreamed of being able to afford a Neo Geo and having the best experience possible. Max, rumors about the PlayStation 6 suggest something completely different. That it would come in 3 models: a base PS6, a PS6S that would be a little less powerful but also less expensive, and then also a dockable handheld version that would be somewhere in between and compete directly with Nintendo Switch 2. Completely different from what we're sort of hearing Microsoft would plan. What do you make of all this?
I think they've always been playing slightly different games. I mean, it's funny because the Xbox began as a direct Xbox. It was a way of streamlining with the Windows gaming experience on a console, and it seems almost like they're sort of moving back that direction. Sony hasn't really altered course that much, aside from allowing some of their games to be playable on PC, which presumably, if this rumored premium Xbox thing is open to multiple storefronts, you could conceivably get Steam games on there, so you'd be playing Ghost of Tsushima or whatever on a Xbox product, which we're already seeing with the ROG Ally. I guess I'm curious, where would it fall if this Xbox thing is sort of a hybrid PC Xbox experience? How much of a PC will it be? How much of an Xbox will it be? How is it going to kind of connect those dots? Because the second it becomes just unabashedly a PC, I don't think it's competing with Sony at all, because Sony makes this streamlined consumer facing sort of walled garden. Like you don't have to worry about drivers and system updates and turning off the widgets in your taskbar or whatever, which is, I know some stuff that some people checking out the Ally X for the first time were like, this doesn't really feel like Xbox. This feels kind of like Windows 11, because it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think that's what it comes down to. It has to be streamlined like that for it to be interesting. Like, I have no problem with driver updates and stuff, but I do really like on consoles the fact that I can just press the power button and play a game. And if I have automatic updates installed, everything should be installed and ready to go the moment that I hit the power button, and I'm good to go. That's really, really convenient. A lot of people really, really like that. And if they can solve the problem of like creating a PC scalable console that can play any game on any storefront, like on Steam, but give you the experience of a console, that will work wonders. And that's sort of what Steam did with the Steam Deck, is they actually managed to solve that feeling in the handheld space. And it's why I really would hope that Steam would have an answer to this. If Steam has like a Steam console that they could put out that offers that experience all in one package, man, that would be fantastic. I'd be very, very excited to see that, but I guess time will tell.
And I mean, that's all very well and good. Like, I think there's ups and downs to both of these approaches. I don't know. It's interesting because like Sony and Nintendo are playing very different games, but obviously Sony, if they start putting out a hybrid console that is competing with the Switch, that is some amount of competition there, even if they're kind of trying to appeal to entirely different markets. Damon, to your point about the Neo Geo, yes, I think that there is room for premium stuff in this market. There is the possibility of having, very high end stuff. The key difference between, what maybe didn't work out so hot for the Neo Geo in the 90s and what companies are capable of doing now is they can get a better sense of exactly how many units they need to manufacture.
Yeah.
I know that, you know, companies will get some flack if they put up like, you know, crowdfunding, you know, campaigns. People are like, why do you need to make a Kickstarter? And it's like, no, really, they need to figure out exactly how many of these things they need to make so they're not losing money by them sitting on store shelves. I mean, that's pretty much how Valve handled the Steam Deck. They took pre-orders, they figured out exactly how many people are going to give them exactly how much money to make these things. And that way it's not, you know, it's not this kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. And I could very easily see Xbox take a similar approach where they're like, hey, you want to get this thing? Here's how much it costs. Here's where you can sign up. I mean, that's kind of what happened with the ROG Ally, you know?
Yeah. Also, we've done it, ladies and gentlemen. After 5 years of the show, we got a Neo Geo commercial on Next Gen Console Watch. So, and there was much rejoicing. Ryan, is there any chance are the Asus ROG Xbox Ally X is
They also need better naming conventions, for the love of God.
it's out, apparently, you know, doing well according to Xbox. Any chance Microsoft takes the same approach with the next Xbox as it does with the Ally X, meaning let a third party make it while Xbox provides the software?
No, not yet. I mean, that they shot that down pretty hard recently, you know, saying that in no uncertain terms they'll be making their own hardware developed internally. They've got this partnership, long-term partnership with AMD. So, might someone besides Microsoft make the next generation handheld? You know, whether that's just Asus again with a successor to the ROG Ally X. Entirely possible, but yeah, I think as far as the home machine itself, that is going to be a Microsoft designed and Microsoft built product.
Gotcha. Well, amidst all these price increases for Xbox,
Yeah, I think they'll be willing to license out more and more. Again, the example I've thought of is, or that it makes me think of, is just the Surface laptops. Like, they're going to have their own Surface laptops, but they also will put the Windows name on all sorts of different things. Probably tighter than Windows has been, where they're, of course, putting it on pretty much anything. But I do think that they're going to open it up a lot.
they've increased the price of Series X and S twice this year. They just increased the price of Game Pass Ultimate. Now it's sounding like their next console will be much more expensive. Sony has just knocked $125 off the PS5 on a limited time deal, I think running through Halloween. So yeah, you can get $125 off the PS5 digital or the slim version right now. So that's a great deal. I mean, if anyone out there has been on the fence about a PS5, now is the time. Max, what's going on with this? It's not even Black Friday.
Right? I love to do all my Christmas shopping before Halloween. Totally normal way to do that. Yeah, this is odd. It also, in traditional Sony fashion, hasn't been properly communicated much.
Right.
So
I
it
didn't
would
know
be
about
cool
that.
if this was a more permanent price cut, if they did that, because it would remind me of, not to be too nostalgic, but of previous console generations where games got, consoles got less expensive over time. But yeah, I mean, remains to be seen if at the very least the upside to them really raising the price so much on a permanent level is that they look like such a good guy when they do, like, hey, we're having a crazy sale, this is great. And it's cool.
It's a good harbinger for actual Black Friday too. If they're doing this kind of sale now, it means there's probably a good chance they're going to do something as good or better come Black Friday.
Yeah, viewers, listeners, if you've been wanting a PS5, right now is the time to buy direct from PlayStation.
Did you remember when they first revealed the PlayStation 5 and we saw the look of it? It was so freaking weird looking, especially coming off of the PS4 era. Like, what the hell is this? What is that thing? Why is it shaped like that? Why does it look like that? It was such a bizarre design choice, but it was also more exciting.
I think there's just a
than
special
like a
code you have
box.
to input at checkout. Just do a little search.
I will say, I still think that the PS4 Slim and then the PS4 Pro were goated because it's literally like the double decker sandwich, and then you do the triple decker sandwich for the Pro. I thought those consoles still, I think, look fantastic. I think overall, them calling it the Rolls Royce of consoles, other than it just being freakishly expensive, is interesting. Because when I hear Rolls Royce, I think of like ultra premium quality. And I've not gotten the vibe that that's what the next Xbox is going to be. I'm getting the vibe that it's just going to be really expensive. Like, maybe it does have incredible performance and it justifies that, but I've just not seen that personally. So I wouldn't call it Rolls Royce. I think what they're going to try to do is they're trying to shake the perception that they are the brand associated with like affordability, with low cost, because that's not what they want anymore. They don't want people coming to them because they think that they have the cheapest offerings. They want people to come to them because they have the best offering in terms of Game Pass, or they have Call of Duty, or they have, you know, all of these other games available on cross-platform stuff, with like buy here, play anywhere, which is genuinely a really cool feature for some of these games. Buy it on Xbox, you can play it on your PC or on your console, on your couch. That's genuinely really, really cool. And so I think that they are going to try to just shift into being more of a premium brand, which I think is a better route to go. I also think for us, it probably means that there will be less of a lowest common denominator. This Xbox Series S, I think without a doubt, has held back this generation for cross-platform games, because anything that runs has to be able to run on the Series S, and that's definitely held back some of these games from being able to do everything they want to do. But next generation, it sounds like, based on the rumors, it could actually be Sony that takes that route, where they're rumored, as they suggested, to have a handheld device and or a smaller PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 6S type console, which is a smaller Series S like console that's cheaper and weaker, but therefore more affordable. So it's going to be very, very interesting. This next generation is going to be unlike anything any of us have ever seen. It's going to be weird. It's not going to look like a typical console generation or console launch. They might not even be launching at the same time. There's reason to believe that they may actually launch staggered from each other, because historically we've gotten the Xbox and PlayStation launching at the same time. Might not be the case this time around. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see, but it's going to be very different. Very, very different. Samine, thank you for that super chat. If this opens up a market for this sort of devices, is it not inevitable that someone makes a more reasonable option for like half the price one day? Well, it's going to be true always, but the goal is that they just get you entrenched in the ecosystem. So if you're entrenched and you own all of your games on Xbox or on PlayStation or Steam, even though there may be a more affordable option elsewhere or a better value proposition elsewhere, because you're entrenched in the ecosystem, that brings with it inherent value. So it's like, yeah, I could swap over to that other console or to that other platform, but my library's here. And so that's worth some amount to me that doesn't make up, you know. Fernando, thank you for the 5. I'm happy the Series S held back the gen. We already have crap optimization how it is. Imagine these guys without having to worry about the Series S. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. I think just in general, post-COVID, a lot of publishers have been trying to just shove stuff out quickly, and they're trying to get games running good enough instead of well. And it's why we should celebrate when we see games that are well optimized. It's why you should see a KCD2 and you should cheer and shout from the rooftops at how great it is, because that game is fantastically well optimized. They want to be the Apple of consoles, but they lack the reputation. So if this new Xbox is really a high-end hardware, I think it is not really high-end hardware. I think it will fail. Yeah, it's becoming the Apple of any industry. Takes years and years and years of really intense and careful, I think, marketing and presentation and manufacturing, and people have to see it and believe it by putting their hands on the product and seeing that it just feels more premium. And we've all felt it. Like if they included, instead of a regular Xbox controller, they had the Elite 2s, like these premium controllers, and these came in the box with every new Xbox, and the packaging was really premium, and it also has the best performance of any console, then that would feel truly premium, and people would be willing to pay that premium price. But you have to follow it all the way through. You can't just slap a high price tag on something and call it premium. Like, the product itself has to be premium as well. That's a problem. He took my thing.